it don't matter. We're gonna put them out there. They're gonna be poverty stricken.
Okay,
What else do you? What
I get
else do
you,
you
Quan.
do?
I
Yeah.
get you, Quan. But this is my argument, right? You bring up the past a lot. I understand that. My
Because it
argument,
matters.
it matters, but to the point where it matters to know through knowledge. But once you understand, once you know better, you do better. Daquan knows. In the hood, we know. We talk about this amongst each other. Our game bang. Them niggas is not dumb. We
Right.
choose to keep doing it. So who else do we blame? There's no white man around me. There's only
But
me.
I think the part that you missing is that how you think they even started get to the
I
point
don't
of
care
gang
how it
bang.
started. A
No,
little
no,
kid get
I'm
killed.
talking
A
about
little kid
that.
got killed. Now
I
you think I
know,
want
but
to
what
talk
I'm
about
saying
history?
is, what I'm saying is this. This is the point that I'm making. Just like you said, the main driving factor for crime is poverty. Some little kid was walking around, not just little kid, a bunch of little kids. Like I said, I happen to grow up in poverty. There's nobody that I hung with that even made it out my hood, bro. But guess what? I
Same.
did some knuckleheaded stuff too when I was young. Because guess what you do when you have nothing else to do, when you have no resources, when you have no little no like no little playgrounds, no schools that's having after school programs for you, when you can barely eat. The only time you get a chance to eat is whenever you go to school, man. Like what I'm saying is like these things matter, and what it does is it causes people to rob, it causes people to steal, it causes people to sell drugs because they feel like they got to get it.
Your
But
own community, like
no,
it called people to rob their own people.
yeah, but because where do they
That don't make
live?
sense.
Yeah, where
Crime,
else you gonna
crime,
go?
crime happens in your area.
You just
But
said that.
you robbing a nigga who don't have nothing. All you do is make them spiteful.
But yeah, but
You
yeah,
hurt yourself.
He didn't
yeah,
say it
but
was right.
no,
He didn't say it
I
was
never
smart.
said that part was right. But what I'm saying is that when the reason why we're trying to tie history into this, right? Like for instance, I don't want to do too much on the Jewish because I don't want my brother here to
Yeah,
hit the thing. But what I'm saying is
calm
when
down.
whenever they receive whatever they receive, and not only that, some of their descendants also receive reparations as well, dude. This thing they created some the United States even started giving us something back in 1982, I think it was, that they once they got reparations, what did they do with that? They repaired their ethnic. It's an ethnic group, first of all. They repaired that, and what happened? They became one of the what everybody believes as one of the most valuable ethnicities in the world, right? And so that's because not only did they get a everybody started respecting the fact that they went through a bad time. And whenever we have people, like for instance, in our community, who don't even respect the fact that we had a tough time, and nobody came to us and say, "Hey, let us undo what we did to them for 400 plus years."
But I'm not
Then what
waiting for white people to feel bad.
No, it's not. But no, but what
I
I'm
don't
saying
care
is
about
this.
them.
Yeah, but because the problem is, like I said, when we're talking about the like the discrepancy in wealth, right? You're literally trying to say that people that were getting paid that were getting paid, not having to pay any employees for 400 plus years, they have what you call super generational wealth. Do you believe that some of those same white folks that you around every day, they didn't? Trump was definitely one of them. Elon Musk was definitely one of them. They didn't like they didn't like gain like a
Benefit.
level of you saying like an advantage monetarily from the thing. You think that all that money from over slavery just disappeared? No, it went
Not
down to
not
their ancestors, and you're trying to say we can catch that. How?
okay.
That's why they own everything.
This is how. This the same way that Asians have the most wealth in this country, and they not white. They had no
Asians do
partake. They
not
didn't
have the
partake in.
most wealth in this country.
Huh?
There's no group in this country that has more wealth than the white than the
They
Caucasians.
doing way. They doing way better than
Hold
the
on, hold
Caucasians.
on, hold on. And you make a. I don't know if that statement is true that they have the most wealth or not, but I will say this, and I'm glad you brought it up. Look at what America did for them.
For them, exactly.
Look at what America did for them. You can't shake your head now. You brought up that point. You brought them into it. You go back in the history of how America treated them, how we rebuilt them, how we gave them space, and then look at us. Like, come on, bro.
Bro,
Like, hold on, and
That's
you,
wild to say.
and the idea about history. This is, and that's a question that I was gonna ask you probably when we have our own conversation. Or we can talk about it today. It don't matter, but it's about the divisiveness. and because to me, I feel like no matter who the president is, if they're divisive, if they have people kind of against each other, if they're not trying to constantly find ways to bring people together, to me, you ain't for this country, because this country got too many types of people. We don't need that. And what I mean, what I'm hearing right now is like they're so divisive that depending on how the coin flip, history can be a good thing or history is a bad thing. When we were talking earlier about Robert E. Lee, you were like, hey man, this is some people's history. Some people got good feelings about this. Da, 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 da. You brought the history up. But then when he brought up history, it's like, why we got to go to history? And
I
it
never
seems
said,
like
but I never said why we got to go to history. I'm saying why are we using their
but
plight to
you did.
justify? And let me explain.
And
Like
why
I
do you
said,
keep bringing up history?
context matters. It doesn't matter that history is being brought up. It's about what you do with it. I know my ancestors were slaves. That's not my argument. What you gonna do with it? I'm never gonna sit back and wait for somebody to come touch me in South Central and do what they supposed to do what they supposed to do for me as they did for my ancestors.
Nobody's saying that though.
If they didn't do it for my ancestors, they not gonna do it for me, and I'm not waiting for it.
We
It's
agree
that
with that.
simple. I'm not waiting for it. I'm
We
just not
agree
gonna
with
wait.
that. We agree with that. But here, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The same way that you're basically saying, in so many words, you're like, I'm not fighting for what my ancestors did. I'm doing me, right?
No, I'm fighting for them every day by doing me, because they went through what they went through for me to have the freedom that I have today. So therefore I'm using it and I'm not abusing it. Which means that if they were here today, they probably would have appreciated what we got today and say, why y'all niggas complaining? Because we didn't have none of this. I'm
No,
not,
no,
because
no.
they wasn't waiting. They
That
waited
that's
to be free. They waited to be free and they got free. Now look, we are the descendants of that. And look what we doing out in the streets, and look what we doing to our babies.
that you know that argument sounds like if you were saying, well, then the slaves in the the slaves that died on the slave ships, they be looking at the slaves that made it like, hey, what y'all complaining about? At least y'all made it. And then the slaves that made it, but they were enslaved, but they didn't get past slavery into Jim Crow.